Thank you, Liz and WKRC, for that story. The Trump administration and Operation Warp Speed accomplished an amazing feat. The FDA approved a coronavirus vaccine that was created and is now available to some Americans in only 9 short months. However, many experts, including a famous science guy, predicted a different vaccine timeline earlier this year.
It's 2 years, everybody. 2 years before a vaccine.
Even with all the technology we have now.
Yeah, I think 2 years to get something that people trust.
Joining me now is pandemic expert Dr. Dena Grayson. So, Dr. Grayson, you got to give some credit. Trump administration, Operation Warp Speed, had everyone wrong. Did they not?
Well, they didn't quite. I don't think they had everyone wrong. I'm actually an MD and a PhD, and I develop medicines, and so that's what I do every day in my day job. And one of the things I called for in early February, as you know, I called for the Trump administration to manufacture hundreds of millions of vaccine doses at risk, because really the only cost was money. And and so if the vaccines were not proven to be safe or effective, you throw them away. But at least once you had the trial results, you'd have those vaccine doses sitting around. And that's exactly what has happened here. So I was actually really pleased, and I publicly praised the Trump administration at the time for doing this. It was the right move. I think that, look, every expert looked at this and said everything absolutely would have to go right for a vaccine to be available by the end of the year. Remember, Mr. Trump was promising this before Election Day, and I did say I thought that was too fast looking at the timelines for the clinical trials. But this is really, truly a testament to our biomedical research in this country. We have the top scientists and doctors in the world. We are world class at this. And truly, I mean, this is an incredible victory, not just for the United States, but really for the human race.
I think it's very important to point out, there are those who say, and I think you've said that it's not Trump's credit. It shouldn't call it a Trump vaccine because it was, Moderna and it was Pfizer who did it. But they did it knowing that they were going to have a $2 billion payout on the backside of coming with a vaccine that works. I mean, it's a lot easier to go and risk your own money, and when you know if it works, you're going to sell it for $2 billion or sell your doses for $2 billion.
No, I don't think so. Now, Moderna is a different story. Moderna's research and development was funded by the government. So that truly, and that's through BARDA. I've worked with that organization. We have these kinds of programs in place, especially for your smaller companies. Pfizer knows. I mean, they know there is global demand for this vaccine. And in fact, we know that because the United States the Trump administration opted not to buy more doses from Pfizer. And now we're kind of in the back of the line. And Pfizer said, look, we won't have anything until at least July, anything more than what we've already promised, and they'll deliver over the next 3 months or so. So I think with global demand, we've got 7.7 billion people, Eric, in this world. Pfizer knew that if their vaccine was proven safe and effective, there would be plenty large market for their vaccine, for sure. And the good news here, look, let's face it, Eric. The good news here, not only are the vaccines safe and effective, but these are free to all Americans. Our taxpayers paid for it. Our tax dollars paid for it. Guess what? It is free of charge. And that's not something that's getting a lot of airtime. So I think we need to make sure everyone knows safe, effective, and free.
Safe, effective, free, and also the FDA's pushing forward some of the regulation approvals to make sure that these vaccines were tested quickly and got out there, and the efficacy, fortunately, is pushing north of 95%. That's amazing. As far as Pfizer is concerned, yeah, it's also a good thing. It's also a good thing when they sell to other countries. We shouldn't look at it as like, hey, not us, it shouldn't be them either, because those people travel. This is a global pandemic. We want everyone vaccinated, not just Americans.
Eric, that's exactly right. I mean, this virus doesn't care about borders, as we've seen. It spreads like wildfire. And I think we also have to give a lot of kudos to the Food and Drug Administration. I've worked, with the scientists and other experts there on other pandemic threats. And, they were burning the midnight oil. I have never seen this level of transparency, to be quite frank with you, in authorizing a medicine or a vaccine.
Right.
They published their dossiers in advance publicly online. They held their hearings, actually online.
Right.
You could live stream it. I thought it was fabulous transparency for the American public.
Doc, I got to go. I agree with you 100%. Thank God about that efficacy, because that could have been a 50 or a 70. It's a 95 number. That's fantastic. Dr. Dena Grayson, thank you.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you and to everyone. Thanks, Eric.
And you as well. You as well.